My sink faucet, right there, is leaking, and we've tried several times to make it stop, and it's just sort of a temporary band-aid fix. So I have ordered one with the sprayer sort of built in at the top that I can pull down and spray with, which I'm kind of excited about, which means I'll be getting rid of this faucet and the sprayer, both which leak water into the cabinet below. Once that's done, the next thing I'd like to tackle sort of in that zone is waste sorting. I need trash cans and pullouts and things for trash recycling, all of that. So stay tuned.
So we're not connected to city water right now. Can you make sure the pump is off, please? Okay, and we'll just run out any pressure left in the line. And I've got some rags. It'll probably drip a little bit, but not too much, so keep a rag handy for undoing these water connections. Haven't even touched the other one. That little drip right there on it is from water running down from the faucet. Okay, the next thing to disconnect will be the sprayer up here, and it's probably not going to be hand tight, so I'll have to get a wrench. This piece doesn't really have good wrench flats on it, so I'm just going to carefully go after it with some pliers.
We don't want to cause any other problems, but we're not going to reuse it, so I guess it's not like
yeah.
a big
If I wanted to reuse this, I'd be very reluctant to go that route. Most of that water's out of the main body of the faucet and the hose from the sprayer. Can you pull the hose sprayer out the top?
Sure.
And I'll guide this. It seems to be. Okay. I'll dump this. And then.
Into the drain we're about to?
We're not touching the drain. It'll be okay. Can you run the faucet around just to kind of make sure it's
fully empty? You've left it on the open?
I did, yep. So, hot, cold, left, right. Yep. Okay. I think that'll be the last of the water that's going to drench us from there. So right now I've run a socket onto the nut that is on the pipe that holds the sprayer tube. This is where the sprayer connected. This nut clamps the faucet down onto the counter. So I think it's loose. It may take a little bit of work to get everything to come up through this hole, but there it is. Okay. We're gonna use the center set faucet here. We've been waiting to get a new counter, and we were going to do the faucet swap at that time with the new counter, but we can't keep letting this faucet leak and potentially ruin the floor below and other things. So we're going to do this faucet swap out now and have the ugly counter for a little while because we have to solve the water leak. So I've test fit to make sure that this is not too large for the hole. Should be a standard size. And it is. I've got my gasket here so that water won't leak down beside it, and it goes there. Now I'm gonna have Shanna hold it while I start the bottom side.
Please like, subscribe, click the notification bell for more Airstream Wheeler content. I need to see if I can order a black escutcheon.
This is a pipe cutter, tubing cutter. Actually not specifically for the PEX water pipe that we have in here. It'll cut copper as well, but I'm gonna go ahead and use it to cut this pipe. How this works is there's a wheel right here that as it spins around the pipe, it cuts, and then you can tension it with this knob on the bottom. So you'll do a lap around and a little slight turn, and a lap around and a turn, slight turn, and it will slowly cut through. Right now we've got a round tube with a nice squared off end cut, which is going to be crucial for our valve that we're going to put on, because we have a PEX type push to fit. All right, the second part of this pipe cutter process is to use this little tool that flips out on the backside. And what this does is go around the inside diameter of the tubing and make sure you don't have any burrs. And the reason that we do that is because when we put one of these push to fit PEX valves on, it needs to slide in here and be a nice 90-degree perfect cut of pipe that goes in there. If you've got your pipe cut on a funky angle and you put it in here, it won't seal. But here we go, we're just gonna spin this lightly around the inside of the pipe to make sure we've got it cleaned up. So these come with a little compression fitting on them that I don't need, so these parts are not useful. But what is useful is this valve that threads on one end running to the faucet, and on the other end I'll just slide it onto the PEX. Pump has pressurized the system, so I'm going to look for water leaks that happen immediately. So far, nothing drastic. Don't see any leaks on the lines. Let's test hot, cold, cold. So we're gonna come back and organize these lines when I'm sure they're not leaking. Right now I don't see any leaks, and that's much better than what was happening before. What I'm doing right now is solving a bit of a storage problem, which is we have the entire shape of the face of this cabinet. Looks like a lot of storage space, except the trap is hanging in the middle of it. What I'm gonna do to solve this is move the trap to the back wall, and I'm gonna put one of these on the bottom of each sink, running in like that, and relocate the trap to the back wall. Now, what I need to do is pay careful attention to make sure I've still got the right slope so everything drains correctly, but this will open up the entirety of this space. I dream of putting a little trash can pull out here. It's going to leak quite a lot of water. Good. Nasty water.
Just moving that wiring out of the way so that you can cut.
Yep, I'm gonna move the wiring and loosen the pipe from the wall.
Gross.
It is a little gross. Drain's open. So what I'm gonna do is use a reciprocating saw blade by hand, because I really don't want to shake this pipe violently or damage the wall. It's pretty tight quarters to work. I'm gonna cut this pipe here so that I can run it up quicker than it is here.
Blade just kind of cuts right through, even by hand.
It's not terrible. It's not terrible. Got a piece of sandpaper here to take the burrs and the rough edges off the cut edge of the pipe.
Oh, it stinks.
A little bit. So the trap is no longer hanging down here. We've got this piece running straight back, and it's going to tie into a pipe on the back wall, and my water filter is exactly in the way. So I'm going to take that down. I'm going to relocate these brackets a little bit higher, but for now I can just leave it hanging over here. center to center on my drains is 13 inches. So I need these against the back wall to be center to center 13 inches apart. So right now 13 inches, and that tells me now how long this pipe needs to be to give me that separation. Looks like 10 inches. So I've got the left sink coming in here. It's got a slight downslope to where the right side sink bowl comes in. Drops down into the trap, comes down to here, and then it tees for the vent. So what I'm gonna do now is use the black ABS pipe cement to cement everything together. Gonna clean every connection with a little bit of sandpaper, and then cement each connection as I go through the line to make sure nothing winds up misaligned and glued permanently in the wrong position. So everything's been glued up now. Pretty happy with the way the waste lines go. Still need to make sure I've got my PEX freshwater lines zip tied back. One of the issues is that the drawer glide hits the line here if I'm not careful, and I don't want that to chafe a hole in it, obviously, so I'm going to work on that. Clearance is still good there. This side didn't change appreciably. This has actually exceeded my expectations for how much space I've opened up and actually how neat it looks back in there. And I know nobody will ever see it, but I like it. I like that it's neat. So, I guess it's time to test it. Hopefully we don't have any water leaks. The leak points I'm primarily concerned about are where these tail pieces come back and connect at this compression fitting that's plastic. Then this fitting here is underwater because the trap holds water at all times. So that one can leak over time. We tried to source a plug for the hole and an escutcheon for the faucet locally at a big box store, but I guess it's hard to buy these loose and matte black, so had to buy it from Amazon. A couple days later, we're gonna just take this out real quick, install the escutcheons, and finish it up. I'm gonna put this loosely hand tight and kind of make sure everything looks all right. I'm gonna put this cap in, and I'm actually gonna turn the valve on the faucet forward. In some sense that's wrong, but we prefer to have our drippy hand, if we're doing dishes, drip into here versus back here. We've got a small annoying problem I've got to fix with this. The round hole plug has a nice threaded back with a wing nut. It clamps down nicely. This relies on being screwed down by the faucet attachment in the center, and the harder I tighten the center, the more the sides are lifting up. This is an interesting puzzle here because the center will squeeze this down, but there's nothing on the outside to compress this on the counter. And so if you get it nice and tight in the center, it's just gonna be kind of winged up on the outside. You'll see this lift up at each edge. So I think I have to make this thinner. Razor blade that I can adjust out very long to carefully make this about half as tall as it was. I'm gonna start there and see if I need to make any more adjustments. So by slowly and carefully cutting down this gasket from the ends, I left it full thickness in the middle, but out on the outside it's not riding up anymore on the gasket. And then I took some of the 3M very high bond tape and added it here. It's the same stuff used in the Airstream hinge trim covers in a couple other places on the Airstream for trim. Seems to work pretty well, and I think right now this is going to do the job.